Hello, hey there, James here. Hope you're doing well. I want to show you something in this video, and I call this how some people's nature is like the devil. They're like a demon, and everywhere they go, they cause chaos. In this video, shout out to the content creator, Professor Truth, and the other ones I'm about to show you. You're gonna see these people and uninvite themselves to a place that, even though they come to cause chaos. This is this young group that been going around the college campuses and cause disruption and feel like they feel entitled to button other people when they're not invited. They have not went to the proper channel and the proper form to be asked to come. But here's the video.
Old song called "The Devil Went Down to Georgia." Well, in this case, the devil went up to Philly. This clown actually wandered into a house of God, and he thought that they were obligated to let him in. And you had a white cop say, "You can't stop him, you gotta let him in." No, the people ignored him, and rightly so. The name of this church is Mother Bethel AME Church in Philadelphia. Now, the reason for this clown trying to make this commotion is the DA, Larry Krasner, was speaking there. And on a side note, if a belligerent white right-winger trying to barge his way into a black church sounds familiar, it should. Even the name is similar. Remember, Mother Emanuel AME Church in Charleston was where Dylan Roof carried out a mass murder. And now you got this creep. Given his behavior and given the history, he ought to be glad that the parishioners didn't take steps to protect themselves, because they would have been well within their rights. And of course, you won't be surprised to learn that this wasn't this clown's first time pulling this stunt. Just a few days earlier, this same ranting lunatic had already disrupted a town hall that the DA was conducting at another church. So this guy is basically bouncing around, following the DA and trying to make a spectacle of himself so he can get some attention. He's supposed to have some little organization that he claims to have, and obviously this is supposed to be his funding outreach, anything to get his name on the map, right? And of course you have this white cop who was there yelling and saying, "You got no right to tell him he can't come in." The people there rightly ignored that donut-chomping moron. He's not even paying attention to the hostile white man who's trespassing and trying to barge his way into someone else's church. He's focusing on barking at the black people who are protecting their space. This is white cops showing that they're the enforcement arm of white supremacy, but as they saw, the arm has no muscle. They did the right thing. This guy already showed that the only thing he's trying to do is to disrupt those town halls. He's not there to actually listen. And on top of that, the DA has no obligation to debate him at all. He wants to debate the DA, he should run for office and have a political debate. That's how it should be done. But that's what these guys are about. Instead of taking the conservatives' own advice of respecting the views of other people, instead this wannabe clout-chasing creep was trying to get some clicks by saying he was going to debate the DA in a church. He didn't even bother to get the church's permission to be there. This is what I was telling you guys about. Everyone knows that these right-wing blowhards like Charlie Kirk and others have mega-millionaires and even billionaires bankrolling their operation. There's a lot of stupid money from the white right that you can tap into if you're willing to say the right stuff. People like Ben Shapiro and others got paid off of that. And now that Kirk got murked, there's a lot of wannabe successors crawling out of the woodwork, desperately trying to get attention by auditioning to be the next Charlie Kirk, when what they really want is to get the millions of dollars in white dark money that he was getting. That's what all of this stupidity in public is about. Now, this is the exact same white right that claims to care so much about religion and Christianity and maintaining the sanctity of sacred spaces like the Christian church, and yet you have this moron running in like any other filthy heathen and acting like he owns the place. White privilege at its finest. But, as I've always told you, nothing happens in a vacuum under white supremacy, because at the same time that this clown was making a nuisance of himself in Philadelphia, over in Tennessee, you had some maggots who called themselves gonna post up at Tennessee State University, an HBCU, and they were going to be harassing the kids on campus. Now, these guys did not have permission to be there, and they kept trying to make some sort of pathetic, feeble argument that, well, this place gets state money, so I should be able to be here and you can't stop me. No, stupid. Just because somebody gets state money does not mean that their place becomes a public accommodation, which is what this idiot was probably trying to hint at. These morons don't actually learn the law, because as far as they're concerned, they're white, and that means anything they say goes. Now, these trespassers, who nobody knew if they were armed or not, were there without authorization, and they tried to call themselves setting up shop as if they owned the place. All they were there for was just to harass the black students. Never mind the fact that just a few weeks ago, the ideological kin, if not these individuals themselves, were threatening these HBCUs. That's the part that gets left out. You got to connect the dots. These guys didn't just show up out of the blue. The white supremacists hate the fact that they got run off campus because it's black people exercising power over them and telling them where they can and cannot go. That's the humiliation in it for them. That's what the Mayo militia is really angry about. Black people are seen telling white people what will and will not go. And they did that as a group. They sat there, as far as they were concerned, it was their worst nightmare. Black folks on code running the white supremacists out. See, as the white right and left, truth be told, see it. If they tell you as a black person something, if they demand something of you, if they say, come over here, boy, I want to have a word with you, then you're supposed to do it because they're your superior, right? But not only did these black kids refuse to debate these clowns, they refused to even allow these scumbags to be there. And that's the right response. And remember, the threats coming from the white right on Charlie Kirk's behalf began long before he was killed. Charlie Kirk and his neo-Nazi pals had a campaign going to attack and threaten black professors and university personnel. It was Charlie Kirk's so-called professor watch list. It was actually a list of people the white right wanted their unhinged and violent minions to harass and threaten, and they hoped even kill some of them. When you see...
Now, excuse me for interrupting, Professor here. So Charlie Kirk's a Christian, right? But you have Christians, black and white, defending Charlie Kirk for doing something like this? You think Jesus would be approved of something like this? You see what kind of legacy he left? That you just do anything because you privileged because you want to. You don't have to really, you just go in and just barge, and this is what these young men have done. This is the legacy he have left. There's no decency, and it's so ordered. You just go and just, because you just, so-called do what you want to do. This is his legacy. This is what they've been doing. But he's supposed to be a Christian. Okay.
Things like the harassment and abuse of black children in schools, like what I showed you in Friday's crime report, that's what the white right's trying to encourage. That's the plan. They have racists like DeSantis and others carrying out a non-stop drumbeat of anti-black vitriol and lying through their buck teeth with phony made-up claims that white students are being maligned or what have you. And that's specifically meant to embolden and encourage some white supremacist to carry out an act of violence. They're not just saying it for the sake of saying it. It is specifically meant to encourage a violent act of some sort. That's the entire purpose of doing it. So no, these clowns don't want to debate. If they did, then they would pay to invite a black academic or pundit to come to a venue that they paid for or got permission for, and they would do it there. You don't just pop up out of the blue, say, I'm going to go ahead and set up a fold-up table. Now someone needs to debate me. That's like the behavior of a crazy person in the town square, except a university campus is not the town square. And
right.
You never see any black people calling themselves bums rushing some white church and saying, I don't like what the pastor's saying, or
no.
You had some politician who's doing a town hall and I demand to debate him after I got through screaming.
And if it's black, if it was Hebrew Israelite, they just do it to black church. They do not go to a white church and do that. That's fact right there. I'm not justifying, interrupting somebody, and they do it on the corner. I give them camps that much, but this is what y'all do. This is what they do. In the case of entitlement, that's basically what it is. It's like I can get entitled to do something, and they're not gonna touch us. This is the same mentality that goes back centuries. Because this is what they would do when they come into black towns. They would just, they could just walk through this street. This is history. This is present. This is the present generation. This is the children of the forefathers that have done this. But let's break this down.
Simple. I only pay $10 a month for my internet connection. Fast, unlimited, anywhere.
This white man gonna tell you what it is. Shout out to Lashonda.
Okay, in order to talk about white history, we need to go back to where the white race began, 1676. You see, prior to this, white had been used as a descriptor of people, but never had been an official race. But after we colonized America and stole land from the indigenous people, the Europeans here had a problem. The poor people kept having rebellions against the rich people. throughout the 17th and 18th century, even into the 19th century, certain people that came over that we identify as white now were not identified as white then. For example, the Italians or the Irish initially were not considered white, but because white is a completely made-up race, they later decided Italian and Irish people are white. This idea is called white supremacy, where we create this mythology of a race that's superior than other races. Like, hey, poor white man, you might not be rich, but at least you're not an enslaved black man. In 1860, the idea of abolishing slavery was becoming more popular, and white people didn't like that. Abraham Lincoln, who was an abolitionist himself, became president, and the southern states here in America seceded from the Union. You've heard the story. It's called the Civil War. Now, after the Civil War ended in 1865, white people didn't just give up their white supremacy. No, they then began a series of things called Jim Crow laws. These laws were intended to target black people. Black people were found to be criminals for anything, and they held public lynchings during the Jim Crow period. That continued until 1954, when the Supreme Court ruled in Brown versus Board of Education desegregated schooling. Of course, white people were not happy about that. There's lots of videos and photographs of it. And then in 1964, the Civil Rights Act was passed, which was supposed to provide equality across the races. Of course, white people were pissed about that. Now wait a minute. You're only talking about the bad things that white people did. What about the good things? Now slow down there, Cletus. I haven't talked about all the bad things yet. This is just the overview. We haven't even got the gentrification, redlining, legacy admissions, the war on drugs, the FBI infiltration of black liberation movements. The white race has a very long history of oppressing and marginalizing black and brown.
Shalom, shalom, family. I pray that all of y'all are doing well. I want to come on quickly and talk about white supremacy and the reality that those who engage in white supremacist tactics, whether they're white, black, Arab, Asian, they hate the truth. These people will do whatever is in their power to subvert the truth, to oppress the truth, twist the facts, to try to make it seem as though whatever it is that they're wanting to communicate is legitimate, but when it comes to the truth, that's something that they fear.
White people, if crime statistics really mattered to us, we would be talking about white men every damn day. We as white people love to throw around statistics when it comes to the black community. We love to misconstrue data about poverty rates, crime rates, single-parent households. Here's the thing. If you really want to talk about problematic behavior in terms of statistics, we need to talk about white men. Most mass shootings in America, white men. School shootings, white men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence, white men. Police brutality and systemic violence, white men. Online harassment and extremism, white men. Domestic terrorism, white men. Serial killers, white men. The demographic making up the vast majority of CEOs, judges, senators, and police chiefs who refuse to hold white men responsible, white men. And yet us white men are really talked about as being a problem. Few white people are asking what's wrong with white men, what's wrong with the culture. Few white men are demanding that we be fixed. And why? Because we as white men humanize and individualize white violent offenders. And it's time to flip the script. To shame and blame, because I know white males are incredibly fragile when it comes to that, but instead to name what's really going on and who continues to be protected and not held accountable because of selective storytelling. I hope this helps.
We see in John 8:32, the Most High Yahushua said, "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free." But the audience that he was speaking to were the Edomite Pharisees and Herodians at the time. And he told them that they were of their father, the devil. The reason why he told them that is because they said that they were of the seed of Abraham and that they were never in bondage. Now remember that Abraham was a progenitor of Isaac, who was a progenitor of not only Jacob, but also Esau. And Esau's name was changed to Edom. And so Herod became an Edomite convert Jew. And all of those Pharisees at the time, they were integrated between the actual Hebrew Israelites and the Herodian Edomite converts to Judaism. This is why they could say that they had never been in bondage. Now, the reason why I bring that up is because you got a lot of white supremacists that hold to the standards of the so-called religion of Christianity. And we're finding out more and more evidence that Western Christianity in particular is actually just a cover for white supremacy. So these same people who are responsible, meaning the religion, for subjugating the true African Israelites through the transatlantic slave trade are the ones today that will tell you that they replace the children of Israel.
Why did the Roman Church paint Yahusha to look like them? It's simple. Because if you change what the Messiah looked like, you can change what he taught. Yahusha was a dark-skinned Hebrew, born naturally from parents who were the same. He walked in truth, power, and obedience to the Father. He rebuked religion. He exposed Pharisees. He taught a narrow path that required repentance, discipline, and righteousness. But Rome couldn't control that. So they did what empires always do. They hijacked the truth and repackaged it. They gave you a soft white idol named Jesus, one who taught grace only, who looked Roman, and who asked nothing of you but belief. It's the ultimate bait and switch. They changed his name, his image, language, and mission, and the world bought it. Yahusha didn't come to start a religion. He came to call people out of it. It's time for you to come out of it too.
They can't stand the truth. Black people all over the world are coming to the understanding of who we are. And the white supremacist Christians, they can't stand that. Like I said, white, black, Arab, Asian, they can't stand it. They make up lies. They can't stand the idea of someone who is of high melanin could actually have greatness in them, could actually have greatness on them. So they can't stand the truth. And it's really sad to see. But this is why they attack us so much. This is why they say the most destructive, racist, degrading.
Is she right? Is she right? Is she right? Is Miss Shalonda right? Sean, I hope I said her name. Is she right? Let's see if Miss Shonda is right. Let's see. Is it true? Because this sounds kind of familiar. So, watch this. I'm going back to this video.
ExxonMobil Low Carbon Solutions is making a
Shout out to his young man's channel.
our customers' carbon footprint by
was because people caught on when it was too late. Now, these dudes are nowhere near what Mustache Man was, but you get the point. Now, the first content creator we're going to be discussing is one.
Hold on. Shout out to this young man.
Battery, so he don't really give a damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's fine. And that doesn't. He's accepting the fact that I'm a troll and a lot of people aren't gonna like me, and that's what it is. So he's fine with that. So that's why I tell us, bro, do not take that serious. Not saying rock with him and be cool, and that's funny, haha. But don't. Yeah, this nigga he's trying to figure his way out. That's the only way he knows how to get it. Goddamn.
Hate seeing a white woman with a black man. And they all have this sentiment of the white population is getting replaced. Like, bro, make up y'all mind. Are y'all the superior race or are y'all the victim? Like, which is it, bro?
If you're a grown man, a girl turning 18 should not be attractive to you. Depends on what state you live in. I live in South Carolina. The age of consent here is 16. So I can be attracted to a 16-year-old if I want. And I am. And I'm going to marry a 16-year-old. I have a deal worked out with a guy. He has a daughter.
Yeah, I can tell. I think what he is he's a comedian for, people that obviously think he's funny and think, stuff like that. But I think this guy's just a comedian. You know what I'm saying? That he only caters to a certain group. You know what I'm saying? I think that's all that's happening here. Yeah,
She's 14 right now, and when she turns 16, I'm gonna marry. We're business partners. I have a whole thing worked out with him, but basically, I'm gonna marry his daughter when she turns 16. I'm friends with her now. We text. I send her memes and stuff.
Yeah, y'all think he's joking. Check his computer. The racist, The child PDF pipeline is real. If you didn't know already, white men make up 29% of the U.S. population, but are accounted for over 77% of the people caught with child. You know what. Now that's it for this clown. We're gonna move on from him. The next content creator we have is Hermes did it again. He has over 200,000 followers, and in his bio it says, seeker of truth, modern day patriot, unbiased journalist. So this guy, I've had him on my channel a few times now, but he goes around just asking some of the most racist and false statistics that you can find.
Why do you think if you eat watermelon and drink grape Kool-Aid, you're more likely to somebody?
I don't think that's a true statistic.
It's true. Let's say there was 100 pandas in like a jungle, and 13 of those pandas were causing 60% of the issues in that jungle. What should we do with those 13 pandas? Do you think black people should pay for their bill before receiving dinner or after? Would you rather have a black son or an autistic daughter?
Wait, what?
A black son or autistic daughter. If black people hate America so much and they feel oppressed, should we just send them all back to Africa? Do you think black people should...
Why doesn't he ask a black person? Why doesn't he go up to like a group of black dudes and be like, yo, let me ask y'all something? And see how, like, you know, sometimes some of them probably, oh man, you crazy, white man, huh? You should go to like white people and ask them, see what they
be born in prison and then released for good behavior? That's a loaded question. Give you a riddle. I'm loud and obnoxious. I like music that rhymes. I'm an eighth of the population, but I commit half of the crime. Who am I? What's your favorite animal?
Monkeys.
Do you think black people should be born in prison and then released for good behavior?
So let's go through the facts. First and foremost, which is it, bro? 1350 or 1360? This shit changes every other day. For one, it's wrong. What they're referring to is the 2019 FBI stats. Yes, black people statistically make up 13% of the U.S. population, but they are accounting for 50% of the arrests. Arrests, you guys, not convictions. Now, here's the kicker, y'all. Black people make up 50% of all people exonerated of crimes. And if you don't know what exonerated stands for, it means not guilty. Now, yes, black people are arrested more than any group in America. So that actually implies America is racist. Now let's get into the real facts. Now, according to the same source that he used, the 2019 FBI stat, white people commit 69.6% of all crimes, 67.6% of rapes, 62% of aggravated assaults, 68% of burglaries, and 72% of all sex crimes. And all the sources will be down below.
People don't talk about all the great things white people have accomplished. 97% of
I think we do. I think we do talk about it. I think we really do. I think we all can acknowledge the great things. Y'all just have the only issue. Nah, let me say y'all. Because again, videos like this, like I rock with Antonio. You feel me? And I rock with what he stands for. He's very pro-black. I'll rock with that. But as a man that has had, you know, white people come through for a nigga and this is that and the third and, you know, have good relationships with white people, like, you know, I stand on speaking to the racist, like, you know, talking about the racist ones, you feel me? And sometimes some are in the back and you don't know what people are thinking, you feel what I mean? So, you know, I don't like white people guy, that's just not me, right? But, so it can get a little tricky, is basically what I was gonna say. I think we
Yeah. But you see what I'm saying? What is the purpose in doing something like this? What was the purpose in walking up to the women? It's something wrong with some of these people that do this. But yet I got a message what's gonna happen because this other white man has some encounter. Shout out to redirecting what he saw in heaven.
Coaching college cheer has been my life's work. I have put together the most disciplined teams to ever take them out.
And the reason why, because they say they're white and Christian, right? They say they believe in Jesus, right? Before I show you this video, they say they believe in Jesus, right? Watch what this man said.
Welcome back to the channel. Right now there seems to have been some type of giant truth bubble that has been popped, and the contents of the bubble are spraying out all over the place. That's what it seems like. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you all a video clip where this man, a white man, of course some would say, well, he's not white. You have white Latinos, black Latinos, and he's obviously a white Latino or Mexican or whatever. Okay? Anyway, this white man, he had a dream. What he saw in the dream is really something to think about. He's going to explain the first part of the dream, and then he's going to explain the second. He said when he got to the gates of heaven, there were nothing but black people there. And he described what they looked like. He said they were different sizes, heights, and shapes. And he said they were kind of ancient looking. Black people only. But then what he said, there's something else he said also that they told him, or that they said to him. That part is kind of tripped out too. Anyway, I want you to take a listen at this video. And of course, I will be right back.
Because I had a series of 2 dreams that has a message I want to share. Church told me once, with faith you can boldly walk into heaven. I thought I was doing everything right. This is part of it, but I got married, and her family were a Buddhist family, and well respected. Big wedding. And I would tell them about Jesus, that Jesus loves them. One by one, her brothers, all her brothers, her mom, in her room, and she pointed out a Bible and said, yes, I love Jesus too. But we were young and we departed, and her mom quickly, and I had a dream where she approached me in my dream. She was like a glowing white outfit. It didn't have a shine, but it just had like a light bulb glow. And she looked very happy. And she came closer to me, and she rubbed my arm like this with 2 fingers, and she said, like black people. And I woke up. I didn't understand the dream because I have black friends. I don't have anything against black people. I didn't understand. So I had another dream right after this dream. That the kind of dream where you remember and never forget. But I remember in this dream that I was staring at my feet, that I was barefooted, and I was standing on something that felt perfect on my feet. Like the way, the temperature, the way how it felt like it wasn't like a flat marble slab where you can slip. This thing had felt like a nice, perfect grip. And I started looking at what I was standing on, and it was like it wasn't gold, but it was golden. And it kind of had like these sparkles in it, where it kind of looked like it dissipated thicker, and as it got to the thicker of it. that's when you feel the presence of no time. It's like you just know that there's no any time there. And so when I raised my eyes, because in the dream I was looking at the ground and even wanted a closer look at it, but then when I raised my eyes, I saw a gate. I said, so I said, I must be in heaven. The peace and where I stood, but I saw a gate, and on the other side of the gate, it was like a whole bunch of black people looking at me, and I had this feel of like they looking at me like he think he's about to walk up in here or something. But these people had ancient type of look, like they were taller, different kind of shapes, but they were all black. I didn't see anything else.
Okay, so he's just telling you all what he saw. I think something very significant is happening in the world today. What we see happening is the great reveal. Truth is being uncovered. Truth is being uncovered. Now, you know what coincides with that? In the last days, the scripture also tells us that the man of sin will be revealed. The lawless one, the reprobate, the one who cannot connect to the truth, the one who has pleasure in unrighteousness, the man of sin is being revealed. So, simultaneously, truth is being revealed and the man of sin is being revealed, because the man of sin is responsible for covering the truth up in the first place. The man of sin is responsible for flooding the world with all of the lies of the deception that you see today. So that's why I say it coincides with the truth being revealed. That also coincides with the man of sin being revealed, because you can't have one without the other. Because you say to yourself, okay, if the truth is being revealed in this regard, then that means that lies were what the world were adhering to before. So with the revealing of the truth, the Most High is starting to speak it and show it to a whole lot of people of different backgrounds, racial groups, male, female. A lot of people are starting to put the truth out there as it is shown to them, and simultaneously a lot of people are starting to uncover the lies. A lot of people are starting to uncover all of the lies that have been strategically sent out into the world. So I'm going to be talking about another issue as well. We are starting to see more and more proof and evidence that the people of the book, the people at the beginning, people in various regions around the world who you didn't know were melanated, we're starting to see more proof of it. We've been talking about these things for so many years, right? But the Most High is starting to bring more witnesses and more evidence forward. He's giving people dreams. They're uncovering relics. They're uncovering images and books and opening up caves and vaults. All kinds of things is happening. It is magnificent. Now, of course, the man of sin, or those who might, spring forth from the man of sin, they're not too excited about this. Because with the revealing of the truth and the revealing of the man of sin is the exposing of the lies that many of them have benefited from for so long. So the expose is happening because the truth can no longer hide. The truth is spreading like a wildfire, and it cannot and will not be contained. We are living in some exciting times. Now, with all of this, we want to make sure that we are on the right side of biblical prophecy because the enemy can't take it. He knows that he has but a short time. So you know he's going to be ranting and raving, right? Like I said, these revelations and these dreams and all of this stuff that is...
Shout out to Miss Deborah and her channel. I said in the previous video that, you know, if you can't stand your brother that looks that you have disdain for because of the shape of his nose, the complexion of his skin, and who you can see, what about the dream he saw? Remember, 100 years is nothing compared to eternity. So you don't know when you clock out. This is a message to the ones who are white nationalists. This is the ones who are Klan-like, think it's funny. Your eternal soul will be at hand. If you don't repent, you may not get in the gate. That's basically what it is. What he saw. So if you're going to keep spreading your poison, keep conquering and dividing, follow the other ones and you will be down there with the other ones who did the same thing. And ain't a not so nice place because there were men and women just like yourself who spread this garbage, who caused hatred and division, who thought it was a mockery, who thought it's a joke. Like he made about those people that was in Germany. Just like you mocked about the people in the slave trade and Atlantic slave trade. You mocked about the ones that unfortunately died by a madman in the gas chambers in Germany in the 1940s. You mock about the things because of Hiroshima when they dropped the bomb. When he did an atom bomb, and there were Asian descent people on the island. You caused all this destruction, and some of you that carried this destruction think that it's hilarious because you're superior, because you have the law behind you. You think that you're going to be practicing white privilege. Got news for you. White privilege is up. And you in the midst of a curse and you don't even know it. There has been times that even in unusual places, the four winds have come into the earth that have damaged plantations, damaged places that were sundown towns. Because there was a lot of injustice there. Beginning in America. You see, even though that they want to take it out of history, it doesn't mean it's going away. You can ignore it and try to tell your children, but if your children are still in the land, their children's children go wonder what happened. And the Most High will reveal when the government try to hide it, the DeSantis and the Trumps and other people. It doesn't matter because it's coming anyway. And you should think about your eternal life. All these different opinions about people you didn't like in the earth. They were the image of God. So when you start making this mockery of other human beings, imagine you live your whole life and you never repented. And imagine someone at the gate of heaven say, and they hear voices, you can't get in because all the garbage you spilled out on the earth, the division, the hatred. You have the mind of a devil, instigating stuff, cheating, lying, spreading false rumors. You understand what I'm saying? You didn't like your fellow mankind because you had disdain for him. So you carry on a generational curse like others had done, some done before your time. Did the same thing since the early part of 19th, 20th, and 21st century. And you think it's a joke, but calamity's gonna come visit. You're gonna feel what we felt. Ain't no getting around it. You're gonna feel what we felt. Every human being, what we felt. Pressing people. Blaming people. Being accuser of the brother. Harassing people. Look who's done the most. Look at the history. Look at the American history, the real American history. Start with the indigenous people. Start with the Africans. Start with the Chinese. Start with the Latinos. Start with the Italians. Everything you've done, you torment them. Your ancestors torment them. And it's gonna come back on you fivefold. I ain't had nothing to do with it, but some of them carry like these young punks did. Coming up in the churches. Because that man who they celebrate, give a holiday to, he encouraged it. But he claimed to be of Jesus Christ. But that's when he started having other young men feel entitled that they can do. Just like their forefathers before them. They go around and torch towns. It's something that they don't do. Just they feel like they're big and bad and the law allowed them to do it. I'm white and I say so, I do it. The police are going to get behind me, the American behind me. My father, my parents, we got relatives. And I can do what I want to do. And your time is up. God is going, the Most High is going, your time is up. Of you spreading your hatred. And it's going to feel in your neck of the woods. Ain't no paper, no government, no nothing. Ain't no prayer. Because it's your time to feel what we felt. It's your time. It's your turn. Your privilege ain't going, and the ones who have the privileged mindset, who like to have the mindset like Donald Trump and J.D. Vance and many of these other people, the Stephen Millers, from the top to the bottom, and say, oh, they're just being boys. Their time is up. God don't think it's funny. God sees the other end. God sees the division you caused. You may think you get by, but you don't get away. This video was a warning. You don't believe me? Go for some of these brothers' channels, these black people's channels, who shows you the plantations. The sword is in your community. White men taking out white men. White men taking out whole families. You can't put it on one side or the other. It's coming to your back door, like what happened in Utah. Can't blame it on another group of people. Can't blame it on another country. I told you, evil is right at your door. And you don't believe it. Because you've been trained in time for a generation, it has to be of another color, another culture. Your culture is fine. That's what some people are taught. That it will never your protection. The cops will protect you, your priests will protect you. But circumstances is going to come. We felt it for 400 years. Yours has started. Some of you are starting it. You have laughed and mocked so much. You have been so entitled so much. What you did to our ancestors so much. You will pay. I promise you. It's going to come. It's already started. It's just the beginning. Some of us have to be next to it, bear witness to it. Some might feel the effect of it, but it's coming back to you. Your homes, your mansion, your privilege, your gas station, your police, nothing is stopping, cannot stop it. When black people start praying, you're going to figure out we was the people all along. But you felt entitled to think you were better because of what history said. That was the message that this, but the message is that, imagine that, that's the message. Get the message. If you remember, if you got something up in your brother who you can see, imagine when you go into eternity and you have all this venom and disdain for another race of people. You think, and you never repented. You never said you were sorry. You thought it was okay. You thought it was just a joke. It ain't gonna be a joke. How many people are joking now who came before you with the same mindset? I pray that God reveal that for your soul's sake. Because it's never over. Just because someone says, because you say, because you've been growing up that they think that that's the way you were taught, don't mean that it's over. The Most High says when it's over. Not the government, not the president, not a judge, nothing. Take that to your privilege. And to these ones that do like these young men did bars in church, your time is coming. If it ain't already happened, it's coming. Because you're going to reap what generations have you done to us. Because your privilege is going to show. To the ones that don't worry about it. They're going to reap what they sow. They're going to reap what they sow. We warned you. Now, and you thought it was a joke. It's coming to your door. You're going to lose everything. Keep it up. Alright then. Like and subscribe. Listen to the message. This don't mean to tell other one, but the ones who listen to the ones that have the spirit of a devil and keep doing stuff like this. It's coming to them. Has nothing to do with race. It's to do with personality. Do with intent. They're gonna pay for it, ladies and gentlemen. Watch. Take care. Bless you on the next video.